So like, it's like I don't know if it's like considered a victim complex, but it's like the opposite, I guess. Where like I always feel like I'm like the issue.
Yeah.
Like every like mistake, like even if it's a teammate mistake, I'm like, oh, I probably could have done something to keep them up or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like blame it. Like I don't know. I've always felt like I was the worst player on the team, so I decided to
Yeah.
get coaching.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. I think whenever we kind of talk about like the proper mentality for competition, usually simpler is better, right?
Yeah,
And usually putting any sort of like blame is always a big no-no, even if it's accurate. Because the idea is that like whenever you're playing or practicing, your really only focus should just be on just doing your job. And whenever we analyze problems, it's not so much about like who's at fault, but about what needs to be corrected to be done better. And if I'm coaching a team, I might, if I'm picking a roster, I might find a weak link. Okay, that needs to be cleaned up, or that needs to be. But if we're trying to like improve as a unit, the goal is that everybody has something to improve at, not just because that's the nice PMA thing, but because that's how we stay focused. If
yeah,
we ever have a situation, and I've worked with a lot of teams that have these situations where it is one player's fault, or it's the mental habit of the team to blame one player, whether that's themselves or somebody else. It really devolves really quickly, like really, really badly. That we had this issue with London Spitfire the first season I was with them, the first contenders team I was with as well. Because what ends up happening is because it ends up being the smoke screen that prevents you from seeing what you need to be doing to get better. And the irony there is you're like, yeah, I agree. But the problem is that actually also applies to you. So if you go at every play, I could have done something better, or I should have helped that, or, I could have prevented that death. That's really seriously obfuscating what you should be putting emphasis on. Let me give you an example. I'm asking you to take off angles, right? On Kiriko.
yeah,
So I asked you to take off angles. You need to be practicing your off angles. I'm like willing to like let you go into a little bit in that process. It's okay. In this last pass fight, your tank died because your tank screwed up. Your tank fed. You then go, okay, that's my fault. So then I'm going to go work on helping my tank stay alive. And now you can kind of see the problem.
yeah,
Where if every fight is your problem or you made a huge mistake, then you end up really making no progress at all, because for every step forward you go in one direction, you go the opposite direction, and we make no progress whatsoever. And I think that gets to be super, super, super toxic for your productivity, which then ironically makes you a really bad teammate. Like the best thing you can do as a teammate is just like to set goals for yourself and take personal responsibility. But the best thing that you can also do is to not take responsibility for other people's errors. Doesn't mean you blame them. Just doesn't mean you take responsibility for their errors.
yeah.
That's the key thing. Because you're just wishy-washy and worthless, right? And I think that's the key thing. And I think also for you personally, and maybe you can relate with this, it makes the game less fun. It makes you feel like I don't belong here, I suck, I'm disappointing myself like every single scrimmage, every single practice. I don't know if you feel like that, but I felt like that in the past, and it's a tough cycle to break.
Yeah. I've noticed it a lot more in like comp, which I've been trying to get out of the habit of it, but I'll have
Yeah.
more of a mindset like I'm gonna just keep my team up and enable them as much as I can to do their job.
Mm-hmm.
Where like I've noticed more like as I've been trying to like not heal bot, I guess, to get out of that like in comp, and I've noticed more where like damage from support's like really, really useful. More on
Yeah.
Ana, like
Yeah.
I know it's like brain dead, like don't use your anti-nade only on your team. But like as I've been like practicing more and more on anti-nade, it's like I've noticed a lot more damage opportunities I've been able to abuse.
Good. Yeah. I mean, your job is always like as a support is to put out pressure and to enable pressure, right? Every character in the game applies pressure. Supports just have that side job of enabling pressure. But
Yeah,
generally, the default position is still to put out pressure. And I think even if you look at it from a strictly mathematical point of view, which is not always accurate, but it's something to consider. Am I going to be doing 75 damage with this shot, or am I going to be doing 75 healing with a shot, right? And that can be kind of like a very, 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 very beginner-friendly way of looking at it. Can I keep my team out of critical? And then once that's done, like where's the 75 damage going to be the most applicable to? So if you can answer that question, then like really you've kind of simplified your thought processes. So it's not that healing is bad. It's just that like as it's the lazier thing to do. I mean, even if think about it from an Ana perspective, which shot is easier to land, the healing shot or the damage shot, right? Like it's always the healing shot, not just because they're closer, but because the freaking hitbox is bigger, right? So you're getting like positive feedback for every heal, and you may not be getting positive feedback for every damage because you're missing half your shots, right? So it's just a weird dynamic and something you have to consider. Okay, so mostly flex support on EDRE, but also you have like a bit of a main support pool too.
It's kind of odd. So I'm technically a main support player, but in double flex support comps, I play Iliari.
Yeah.
And then I'm also our Ana player because our flex support player doesn't play Ana.
Psychopaths. Okay. Yeah, I mean this is the way of Overwatch 2, right? We got all these weird hero pools floating around, and you know that's fine, honestly. Okay. You play 4 scrims a week, and some ranked on your off days. Okay, so then during your scrim days, you just do your scrim and that's it.
I warm up a little before, but yeah, pretty much.
Okay. What do you do for a warm up, and how long does that usually take?
I try to get into the aim trainer for about 10 minutes and a quick play.
Okay, sounds good. And then you scrimmage for 2 hours, and then on your off days, so that's like 2-3 days a week, I assume.
Yeah.
How does the rank usually look?
It's anywhere from like 2 to 4-ish hours a day.
Okay. Is that all the same, basically the same hero pool of what you're playing in scrims, or does it differ a little bit?
From that doc, I've picked up Juno too, so I'm a Juno player now, so I play a lot of her now.
Okay.
But other than that, it's pretty much the same.
Okay, sounds good. What's your scrim pool looking like legit this week, like today, tomorrow? Yes, last week. Like what's your hero
what days
pool?
we're scrimming?
No, sorry. Like what heroes are you playing?
Oh, okay. So I just play Ana and Juno currently. We're just playing Juno and Diva comps.
Does your ranked hero pool mirror that?
Yes.
Okay. That's something to kind of keep an eye on. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm not as confident on like Lucio as I am on the others, so I try to stay away from him in comp because I don't think I'm gonna get as much value.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I think that's just a good habit, just to practice your mechanics on those characters in ranked on your off days. I mean, if you want to play like a little bit of Zen here and there or EVRE or whatever, it's fine. But generally, like whatever you're playing in scrims, it's good to get a little bit of those reps in ranked as well. And then during your ranked sessions, do you take breaks between games? And also actually during your scrimmages as well?
We usually have a little bit of downtime in between maps. It's like you just talk about like the last like what we could have done better the map before.
Okay. What about ranked?
If I lose, I'll usually take like a 5 or 10 minute break.
Okay.
And then go back in.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Do you take the bio during scrims?
The bio?
Yeah, the 5-minute break between like halfway through.
Oh, not usually.
Okay.
We usually just talk about talk about the map, then go in.
What I would recommend to do, I don't know how much like swing you have with your team, but that might be worth a suggestion. Maybe just say that, hey, Swella suggests like actually taking the 5 minute, like 2 or 3 minutes, like just to get up and stretch your legs. Thing can kind of help keep your energy high, focus high as well. And I think that's also worth doing for you, not just even after a loss, but even after every game. Well, I know like depending on your rank, like support queues can be not too bad, right? At least they're better now than they were at like a Juno release.
Yeah.
And I still think like taking like 60 seconds just away from your computer between every game that you can remember to or every game that you have time to is really useful. Just keep your energy high, keep your focus high. It helps to prevent tilt from even happening, even after good games. It's not that you get tilted after good games, but you're still expending energy, if that makes sense. You're still expending energy. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, so hero pool matching your ranked pool matching hero pool into scrims, taking breaks between scrims or during scrims, halfway point. I know between other maps you'll be chatting about stuff, but do try to take those breaks, and in ranked as well. Focusing on yourself, focusing on your gameplay, but honestly, like being willing to just like let other people make mistakes, and honestly, let yourself make mistakes, as well. Because if the idea is that you cannot let yourself make mistakes while you're practicing something, think about how toxic that must be, right? Yeah. Imagine like you're focusing really hard on writing an essay about World War I, right? Like that's a school assignment, right? Imagine a teacher coming over your shoulder and like smacking you over the hand with a ruler for your penmanship, and then smacking you in the lower back for your posture. Imagine how distracting and frustrating that would be when you're putting a lot of thought and effort into what you're writing, not how you're writing, right? Like that would be super frustrating and super toxic. That's what you're doing to yourself now if you're trying to practice something and instead you're focusing on taking blame for literally every tiny little detail that you get wrong. Ignore that crap. Focus on what you need to do.
I think I'm a little bit more lenient in comp with mistakes, because I know like it doesn't matter. Like I can always get the rank back, but like in
Sure.
scrims,
Well, you're letting your
more,
friends down.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's true. It's true. But I mean, successful teams have to let each other down. Like I've yet to find a successful team that is incapable of letting their teammates make mistakes. Like you should always be lenient and let your teammates make mistakes as long as you have confidence that they're putting full effort in. That's what you're like. I've never been upset as a coach at people making mistakes. I've just been upset at the lack of effort. And that's kind of like that's the kind of culture that you should try to sustain within your own team, and you need to hold yourself to that same level. And if you ever feel like that, maybe that's a conversation you need to have with your teammates as well. But like you've got to push yourself there, because again, the worst thing you could do for your team is to never ever allow yourself to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Masters is a ranked goal. Want to work on positional issues and awareness. Talk to me about those things really quick.
I've noticed a lot whenever I've been trying to push myself more into different playstyle that I do get caught out more. So I kind of want to like check off angles like that I'm playing. Like so I've practiced like identifying like more where their DPS are. I've been trying to focus on that a lot more, like keeping up with mine and their DPS. So
Yeah.
I've like tried to counter rotate before that they get to me.
Yeah.
And I've been living a lot more because of that. But like whenever I go for like an off angle, I remember an Ana video you were talking about, like she's like more of a one-shot character where you throw your nade and you get your value.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to do that more instead of like sitting on an off angle and just getting poked out by like their DPS trying to duel them or something.
Yeah. Okay. So like you're basically trying to keep better awareness of like where your threats are and rotating accordingly. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. I mean, that's a great skill to have. And then awareness. I tunnel vision pretty heavily and end up making decisions delayed, which sometimes costs my teammates lives.
It's more on Ana, like where you get like into a situation where there's 3 people that are critical, you have to hit your shots, and then there will be someone like an Echo come up behind me and just sticky me and kill me.
Yep.
I didn't hear her because I was focusing.
Yep. I think tunnel vision is usually a reflection of skill, because let me put it this way: if you are really good at something, it doesn't take much effort to do it.
Yeah.
Like think about what you just described to me. I'm really struggling to hit my shots and then I lose awareness, right? If you're really good at DPS awareness, then you wouldn't need to worry about where the Echo was. You'd just be able to focus on hitting your shots and you'd know. Yeah. Or vice versa. If you're really good at hitting your shots, you wouldn't need to worry about hitting your shots. So you'd be able to put more brain power into dealing with the Echo. So the reality of the situation is when most people come to me and say, I struggle with awareness, they're just not as good at the game as they like. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because the game of Overwatch is like always like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 variables going on at all times, like ult tracking, cooldown management, cover usage, mechanics, positioning, tracking the enemy threats, all that kind of stuff. So awareness is just being good at Overwatch, right? And awareness usually means that you're hyper fixated on one thing because it's challenging to you, and so then other things tend to go. That's not a reflection of your player weakness. That's just a reflection of your weakness, period.
Yeah.
So I think that what we could do is we can be more specific about what skills you struggle with and requires, you fixating on whatever you need to do, which might be mechanics or tracking enemy threats. So those are the 2 that you just mentioned, right? But I wouldn't really worry about it as like this big major problem that like you need to go like take caffeine or like go see a psychologist about, right? It's just you're just bad, like, or just not as good as you'd like. That's pretty much all there is to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Sleep looks good. Let's take a look at some gameplay here.
All right. Some codes.
Do a little bit of both?
Yeah. The Juno one, I feel like I'm a little bit better at Juno than Ana, but I don't know if that's just because she's...
Well, what have your hours been? the
clicks with me
last
more.
2 weeks?
Well, actually, I don't know, because I have 9 hours this season on Ana and like 4 on Juno, but I also play a lot more Ana, so maybe I'm just like have more bias. Like we're just better at Juno comps than Ana comps, and
Could
we've
be,
lost
yeah.
more on Ana.
Could be,
So
yeah.
I'm just
And you were starting to say like it may have just clicked better, and that really might be the case too. Like I think great example for me is Genji. He's the first character I ever learned in Overwatch. If I look at my embarrassing career profile here, from all modes, time played, this is kind of where we're at with Genji. And yet I would say my Orisa, Cassidy, Zarya, Winston, Sombra, like I can probably name 10 or 15 characters that I'm better at than my Genji.
yeah.
Because it's just like, it's not just that like, oh, I spent my early hours on that character. It's also that like I just have some weird habits that I have to like really put time into the character to break, and I just don't play them all that much anymore. So Ana might be where some of your old crappy habits just kind of persist, and we have to root those things out. You got to root canal your Ana, is what I'm saying.
I used to be like a Mercy one trick on console, so I feel like the movement like
Yeah.
Ana's like a lot more like harsh
Yep.
to
Yep.
mistakes than
Yep.
Juno would be
Yep.
with
100%.
positioning.
Okay. Let's take a look here. Any questions with Ana?
Not any that I can really think of.
Okay, let's just check your execution here. I will say right now, more of a team kind of a thing here, but I don't love your team's setup right here. I would, if because this is a scrimmage, I would do like a bit of a split here. So I think on a Brig can kind of hold the forward anchor angle that's more likely to get dove, right? Which is probably going to be this position here. But then honestly, what you could do here is Ashe can take here, and then as they dive, have your Ashe rotate off to the split here. And so then you can pocket her if she gets dove, but then your Brig, you're not kind of all clumped here, being denied 3 people by a single disruptor shot. Because you might go, oh, I need my early poke. That may be true, but like how much early poke are you going to get from this before this dive happens anyway? And the answer is not all that much. So, but like this is such a major problem for you. And so you're not even in a position to sleep nade anything on the dive because your entire team is just like kind of cooking, to be honest with you. I mean, this is just a disaster, right? So I'm putting more emphasis on your team right here, but this just might be a little detail that you guys can look at. Like, there's been 0 pressure on this team. Literally 0 pressure. So. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a mess. You know, so there's like this is partly team setup, partly some of, finding windows to get value, and then your team just took an ungodly amount of damage, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Like even here, you really want to try and have a split retake if you can. Certainly like 3, 2, 1 timing it out. Okay. And then I need you as quickly as possible. So this is kind of like you said, the one-shot character was the way that you described it, right?
Yeah.
Like once this guy's out of crit, like right now, it's not even like a question of you must hit this anti-nade here. Like you must. I don't care who it hits. This is obviously high risk, high reward. This is more medium risk, medium reward, low risk, low reward. But it needs to be put out now, like right now. If you see him diving you, then that's obviously means you can just anti-nade yourself and hit him. But like this is like war crimey going on right here.
Yeah.
Like this pressure, this is why your team is under so much pressure. I blame your setup earlier for the lack of pressure, which meant that you didn't have time or opportunity to look for anti-nade because your squishies were crit. But now this is your fault. You've had the downtime and you've not hit that opportunity. And so now your team is suffering for it. Now you're up 1, so it's not as bad as it could be, but that was extremely painful. Nice sleep there. Really well done. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Missed anti-nades, missed whip shots, and bad hit scan and/or tracer angles are like the 3 big reasons why you'll feel stuffed in a dive mirror. If you miss any of those 3 things, you just give the enemy team like literally 20-25% more damage across the board. Like even here, like she's fine. Like she's fine. She's basically full. If we do the math here, right? She's missing a fraction of her HP, and you can see that. Whereas what you could do here is land the anti-nade if you want to. Ego it. Might be a little early, maybe. Or at least looking for an angle here. Or even just shooting the Winston. Because even with the armor reduction, That's going to be a lot more than what you're doing here, as well as denying angles like this Ana's taking, like this Juno's taking, this Echo's taking. This is where you have to coach the micro. There is no avoiding it. The philosophy here, the macro of your positioning, is fine. But you need to be shooting the enemy team in the face. And the reality of the situation is it's just because nobody's low. Nobody's even half health. You must put out pressure, and you must do it now.
Okay.
Because the irony here is you're missing information about what's happening where. Guess where a threat is?
On gas station?
Yeah, somewhere gas station. I'm guessing left. And there it is, right? So this is where the staging of the dive is happening, and you need to be there. It's a good nano. And even here, though, like let's shoot. Let's follow up. That anti-nade's blind. Great sleep dart. Again. But now we don't have anti-nade because we kind of just yeeted it. We haven't put out enough pressure, so we've lost space. Mouse hits a hair. That happens to me all the time. It's just quietly toggling. I get how it is. I mean, it's a missleep. It happens.
Yeah.
Like, here's the way I look at it. I think this is the key thing. This is going to be the moment of truth for you. You can look at that fight and say, I missed a sleep dart and a monkey. I trolled the fight. And you know what? You're right. You did. Your fault. But I could look at every single member of your team and point out at least one critical error. The reason why I'm not as worried about the sleep dart is because that's just a mistake. And you've done those things relatively well up to this point. It's not a strategic decision. The reason why I'm more fixated on the strategic decision is because that's a habit. That's a reflection of something that you'll do, and you'll do consistently. That's what should frustrate you. And that's what needs to be fixed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's okay to miss sleep darts. It really is. Like, if you've ever seen legit Shu, I've seen Shu miss sleep darts like that before. I've seen it, right? Mm-hmm. But you know what Shu would never do? Shu would never heal his Ashe for 30 HP when the entire enemy team is staging directly in front of him. Never. Never.
Okay.
And again, we can sit here and laugh, but I don't care. Like, I really don't care. In fact, I would look at this and I'm here, and I'm like, why not go for the sleep? Why not go for the nade now? Like, come on, like, at least force a flight, right? Like, there's a window there. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I wanted to kind of wait for the bubble. That's fine. But then obviously,
I was more thinking because the nano monkey. I wasn't sure how long the nano had been on, and I didn't want to like watch my rig die because
sure. So in that case, sure. Whatever, it's fine. We go next. Sure. Let's walk. Walk. You've seen the cycle of bubble, right? So like that's your window of opportunity to take space. We need to take space right now. Even if it's melee space. Like I know it's weird to think like go here, but you've seen nano, right? Like
yeah.
You have your CDs, you have your bubble. Like let's go. Let's take space. I wouldn't gamble it. When basically here's the rule with Sleep Dart, okay? Little detail here, but worth pointing out. Is this Winston a threat to anybody?
No.
Do you need to look for Sleep Dart then?
No.
So he's not only in a perfect position to juke your Sleep Dart because he's on the edge, but also because he's not really a threat to anybody. What should you do right now? This seems really unorthodox, but what should you do right now?
Look for an anti-nade on the backline, maybe?
Ignore him. Walk forward. Hit this corner here. Get here. Chuck the anti-nade. Check the Sleep Dart. Maybe save sleep if you're tracking primal here, right? But like let's rotate. Don't give him attention. He doesn't deserve your attention. And you're gonna look for anti-nade now, and then you see you've given that Winston value when he didn't force that value upon you. Yeah. The difference between this Sleep Dart and when you slept him earlier was because he was an actual threat, and so you needed to sleep him. So right now, where does your crosshair need to be?
On their backline.
On their backline. And there it is. Nicely done. Crosshair. You see where your crosshair should be here? I mean, even here, like you're thinking about nano. So then as soon as that nano happens, I want to see crosshair on backline. Maybe even before. Not your problem. Good sleep. Rotate away. Pop the nano. Pop it. Still winnable, right? I mean, sure. I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't have hesitated to nano there. But you know, that's fine. I see the vision here. Like again, my point is not like, oh, more damage. It's just like read the room, right? Like read the room. Right here was like kind of weird, but you know what? You read the room. You know, it was necessary. So okay, we're fine with that.
So should I be like setting up for an anti here?
Why not?
Because I didn't feel like I ever got a chance to anti their backline, but I also think it's because I take too long to set up.
Well, you never looked for it. That's the thing. And when we say set up for an anti here, can you set up for an anti from this position right here? Well, let's just look.
You could kind of throw it over the...
Right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Or you see Sojourn? Right there. Or you can predict where backline is? Right there.
I honestly didn't... I don't think I saw their Sojourn because I was too scared to peek.
Well, that's it. Why?
I don't know. It's just something I've always done. There's nothing to one-shot me. I have a brig. I shouldn't be scared.
You know, okay, this is the hilarious thing. The only thing that you really legitimately should be scared of when you're peeking for anti-nade is what? Think about it.
Stickies?
No. Because you could see it coming, right?
Yeah.
You can see it coming. It's anti-nade.
Oh, yeah.
It's the enemy Ana's anti-nade. That's the difference, right? And the Ana has hit a few of those anti-nades, right? And so what's happening here is you're, again, you're giving the enemy... okay, basically, this is the best way to describe it. With the lack of anti-nade pressure on this Winston and Sojourn or Ana or anything here, you have killed your backline. Or you have made your backline miserable because you have allowed the enemy team to walk forward while taking at least 30, I'm going to pick a random number, but I would say at least 35% of your team's pressure is gone because you haven't anti-naded.
Yeah.
And not just anti-nade, but also damaged, right? So like right here, you hit one shot and you're like, oh, I second guess yourself immediately. Like, I don't even know what you saw that made you rotate away.
I think I just saw their monkey jump. I was prepared for a dive.
Right. So then, but why are you scared? Just tuck the corner here and then go peek back out again. Like, I'm telling you, if this is Shu, what does Shu do here?
Probably peek anyway. And
he's backboarding this nade. This nade. And so what's that monkey do immediately?
He's gonna have to bubble.
So what kind of a threat is that monkey now? Nothing. So then what does Shu then do from this corner? He peeks. Shooter. He's sniping. Heck, he might even use... Well, he'll probably save his sleep dart because of the nano in the field, but like, this is the kind... And he's watching for anti-nade, right? He's watching for rail. He's checking his HP. But that's the kind of like reading the room, right? And what you just proved to me right now is you do have the capability to read the room when it's slowed down. Yeah. You don't have the capability to read the room when it's sped up, and you have bad habits that kick in and tell you whisper lies in your ears.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're going to die. No, you're not. And if you do, go back and find what did you miss. Oh, I didn't see the anti-nade coming, right? I stood still with the echo stickies on the flank, right? Or, you know, I was too far forward and I was too far from cover, right? Because this is a bit of a train wreck, right? And so now what ends up happening is great sleep, is you are now forced to use everything defensively because basically what you've done is like you are the enemy Winston's dream because every engagement has been free. Everyone. Yeah. For both him and his backline. And I think what's happening is Cocaine Shan is doing the real deadlifting in terms of punishment of that backline and then Winston walking forward. Yeah. Whether it's with Bobs or whatever. And so but that needs to be like mutual here. Like even now, like if you pop anti-nade now, you might be thinking, oh, it's too early. He's taking enough space to where I think you're gonna force some CDs here. Like you might not be able to get bubble out, but like I even here it's like I would be thinking about it. That's a good anti-nade. And see here, it's like, if I see him like this, like, I know he doesn't have primal. I just ruined his day. You know what you do? You walk into his face and you sleep dart him. That's what you do. And then he's in a serious problem, right? Good. I mean, this is just so much free value. Dude, there it is. But you see how, like, you gave him primal by not ever contesting his space, right? And you're always giving him cleave. It's funny because, like, you can draw so many wrong conclusions from that. Like, what could you say about that from, like, the wrong logical standpoint? Oh, I died because what?
I mean, I died because I got pushed into the room. Yeah. I separated from my brig.
Right. And I was too aggressive, right? I should have been more defensive. No, right. And it's like, what ends up happening is you need to be better at reading the tempo. Is kind of what I'm asking for. When the enemy team is a threat, give them respect. When the team is not a threat, you need to take. It's basically like what it is like you're playing chess, but you're skipping turns.
Yeah.
And then wondering why you keep losing your queen, right? That's kind of like what's happening is if you give the enemy team the capability of taking that space, they will punish you. They will punish you. And so you're like, oh no, I lost my queen. I should have kept her further back. Well, at some point, if you give them that much space, there is nothing that you can do. You will lose that queen. There's nothing you can do. And that's kind of what's happening over and over again. So it's not just do more offensive anti-nates. And it's not just do more damage. It's not say you hit your sleep darts or do offensive sleep darts. It's none of those things. What am I asking you to do? What's the skill you need to practice?
Look for value.
Look for value? When?
Whenever they're ready or trying to engage.
Right. Finding windows of safe pressure. When do I need to heal? When do I need to damage? Read the room. That's kind of what you want to find. And this is something, by the way, that you can practice in ranked. And this is something you can practice in ranked even in a non-dive mirror, right? It's a principle. Okay. Let's look at attack just a little bit, and then we'll look at some Juno here. Any questions so far?
I think on third point, we did a lot better with the dives.
Okay.
I don't know.
Defense or attack?
Defense.
Okay. Well, if you want to look at third point, we can look at third point then. Let's see if it was
it's more. I had like a lot. I had like so much room. It didn't really matter. I just had every chance in the world hitting nades.
The funny thing is this looks a lot like first point defense. You know, it's the same, essentially the same amount of distance, but somehow like you're giving the enemy team less unearned respect, essentially, right? Like you are seeing this and you're like, they're not really a threat, and you're right. So you're landing anti-nades here, and wow, look at that. Who would have thought, right? There's nothing that's really changed because like first, second, and third do have this much space. So where was this, you know? I guess the question is just why now? Is it just your interpretation of the map?
I guess
different?
Yeah, I guess it's just I'm more confident on this part of the map.
Sure, interesting.
Because we haven't played Route 66 much. So we have a map pool for our first league, and then we just got into our second one, and we have more.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's going to take some practice. It's going to, like, what I'm asking you to do is going to cause you to make some mistakes for sure. We've talked about this, right? But, like, it's not, you're going to need to look at this and be like, I need to be okay. Like, even right now, I see no reason now to not anti-nade where? 2 spots.
There's Sojana or the monkey.
Or the monkey, right? So if he pops bubble now, they're cooked because there's 0 pressure on backline for the next 13 seconds, which is longer than anti-nade cooldown. And there it is. That's a fight-winning anti-nade. Now, are you vulnerable to Winston? I mean,
No.
I guess not really, right? He has to jump so far. You still have sleep dart and break pocket. Like, why would you be scared? And yeah, you were the difference maker here. Like, you were legitimately, you were the difference maker here. Like the change. And the funny thing is, it's not even like a ton of like damage. It's just the one burst of value, and you just hit it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Now I want to take a quick look at this because I think it's important to look at a non-dive mirror because the same principles apply. Can you take a sightline here? I respect it. There's no threats to you right now, so you need to be doing damage. Okay. It's fun. Well, yeah. Why did you not see him though?
I was looking at my Echo that was in the back of our team.
Well, the funny thing is that shot there from the Echo, probably okay. Yeah, probably okay. She was like half, no?
Yeah.
But then look at where your crosshair is now.
In a wall.
Even here, it gets even worse.
Yeah.
You see that? You're still thinking healing. No. This is what you need to worry about because this is why I was expecting you on a defense to get full stickied by the Echo on this flank here because you were so fixated on healing your Ashe who was full HP. And so it kills you. It's not just, you need to do damage because, herder, alpha male. No, you need to keep yourself alive. You need to keep yourself alive. This rotation's cool. We're down for this. You probably want to rotate top left 3, 2, 1. You need to go now. Because obviously the Sigma will spam you out, but you can like peek, chuck the nade. Okay, he tosses shield. Then what do? You got a couple options, yeah? You can't stay here because he'll poke you out. So what do?
You could either drop or go left.
You can drop, rotate to here, or you can rotate all the way hard left and set up an angle here. Can't be in 2 spots at once. Your choice. Okay, so we drop. See, I'm going to be real. If this is my brig, and I know I'm the greatest Ana of all time, so you should always listen to me. I see where she's at, and I go, I could maybe help her, but she's probably fine. And I'm kind of on a timer right now. Where do you need to be, like, ASAP?
To the right.
To the right, anywhere on the right? Like, I'm not really sure if you want to go under, if you want to go where you died earlier or further out, but you need to get out pressure now, because, like, if you go back and start thinking about your Brigitte, who's not really doing anything anyway, your Winston's going to suffer, your Tracer's going to suffer, your Echo's going to suffer. Good anti-nade. That was a good try. Like, you had the right idea, right? That's what we want.
Yeah.
Okay? Stop healing her. Stop healing. You need to go. Stop healing her. Like, one shot there and then move, because you need to be here. This is... Do you see it? She needs your help.
Yeah.
So you need to go. This rotation's fine. Anti-nade. Good. Be a little bit more specific about who you're anti-nading, either the far left or the far right. I think you kind of got a little bit of both. You see it?
Yeah.
And it has to be. You have to. And not only that, but you should also be using your sleep dart here. Why?
There's nothing that can really push me, so I might as well just use it.
It's not like, oh, you could. It's you need to use your sleep dart here. And you need to be shooting this backline. Otherwise, this backline will kill your team, and there's no amount of healing that will prevent that. And especially, this is, you know what I can tell what it is? This is a team call. Sigma, 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 Sigma. Right? Not your job.
Yeah.
Not your job. Your job is elsewhere. The reason that they're calling Sig is because your Winston Echo cannot go for backline, but you can. The best thing you can do to kill that Sigma is to shoot their backline. And shocker, because you don't shoot backline, they start to shoot you back. And so now this is a problem. Really nice anti-nade. Really nice anti-nade. We'll sit on Sleep Dart for Christmas. Just as a surprise. Wait, here's a big sleep. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Here it is. Oh. All right, let's stop there. I think for you, broadly applicable, I want windows of offensive pressure. Don't wait for them to happen. Seek them out when the fight has started. Both with the anti-nade, your sleep dart, and your offensive pressure. Practice doing something as stupid as a mathematical calculation of, is my backline going to die? Is this person going to die if I can't pocket them? And if the answer is no, they're not going to die, then you need to put pressure. That's it. Any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's take a quick note. Calculations for offensive pressure. Will my team die? Person die? If not, put out pressure. Emphasis on anti-nade when windows are open. And sleep if you are not under threat. Shoot your threats. Any questions about those steps?
No.
Okay. You can really break this one down to where we could put emphasis on like anti-nade, but we could also put emphasis on your offensive shot. You don't have to do both at the same time, because I know that would be a lot of calculations at once, but you could just practice one of those things at a time. Okay. Juno, what is your responsibility with Juno? Why Juno? What are some things that you've been wanting to practice or have been practicing with Juno? And do you have any questions about Juno?
I
clip dumped you.
So we've just been we've just been practicing this comp. I guess I've been working more on positioning, like knowing, like obviously, like whenever they walk on Brawl, I'm not gonna get swung on. So all I need to work or like avoid is their Widow. But I've mostly been like trying to speed like my team away from danger, or me, or speed my team in and save boosters for whenever we engage, or not boosters, missiles, whatever. I don't want to. And then that's pretty much it.
Okay. Why does Brigitte Juno a combo?
You can keep your Brig can help your Juno from a distance and keep your Ashe alive. Like sit on the off angle with her.
Okay, sounds good. Let's take a look here. So your priority with Juno is constant pressure. A lot like Ana, actually. Like Juno functions very similar to Ana, where there's like bursts of pressure around your torpedoes. Torpedoes being the equivalent of like anti-nade, right? And basically constant offensive and defensive pressure. So like if constantly healing or constantly damaging with Juno is really powerful. Like she's the best in the game at it.
Yeah.
The difference with Ana is that your burst of offensive pressure is significantly worse, but it's okay, right? The difference with Ana, though, is that you're allowed to maintain pressure for longer because you're able to rotate safely, essentially. Like you should never be under any direct threat if you're rotating properly, which allows you to consistently apply pressure and apply pressure for longer. That's the key thing. So I look at the situation here, and I don't hate this position now, but I don't love it either. Why?
Because I don't have any pressure on their team.
Because you don't have any pressure. Now you will have heal pressure here.
Yeah.
But you're essentially, this is a position that emphasizes, static. You can play here and not need to rotate. But with Juno, you have the capability to rotate. Why not take that?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I don't hate this position, but I don't love it either. What would be maybe a slight adjustment of this position that may allow for a longer pressure cycle?
Play a little bit farther to the left, kind of closer to where my brig is.
Sure.
Here,
This
yeah.
might be a good spot here. Now, obviously, the Widowmaker changes this, but this could be something here. Heck, you can make this jump even here. So you could even start here, apply pressure here, apply pressure here, apply pressure here. It's just something to consider. So let's see how this position plays out first. I don't hate this position. It's fine. But it's just something to consider. The other thing as well, when you're playing Juno, whenever you can, is you kind of want to play in a leash. The leash being the length of your speed ring's deploy distance. So like right now, what's the problem with your positioning? From that standpoint,
doesn't reach anybody.
Right, it doesn't reach anybody. Now, who would you like it to reach? Well, I don't know. Maybe Diva, maybe backline. Your choice. Just something to consider. Sure. Do you notice how like almost immediately you rotate away from the position that you chose? That's kind of that's kind of demonstrates that, maybe that spot wasn't the play. And here as well, you're going to go back, but this is a mistake. We need quality, safe, intelligent uptime. Where do you need to be right now?
I honestly don't know.
Well, there's no, see, this is your problem right here. This is your problem. Okay. Juno is strictly fluid. In terms of there are no rules with spots that you must play as Juno, because that's antithetical to her entire design, which is you should be wherever the enemy team isn't.
Yeah.
Right? So where is the enemy team? You have full scouting in this, right? So where are they?
Yeah. They're going under.
So remember, we're looking for high value uptime from a safe range, safe angle. Where do you need to be?
Yeah. I rotate here later, I think, but I think my idea was to speed my...
Yeah. Not even necessarily here, by the way. You could legit be here. You could be here.
Yeah.
Like, again, what other support could do this? None. But
So, like, with my fly, I should have flown closer to statue instead of going back.
You got it. Don't use your cooldowns to escape. Use your cooldowns to rotate so that you don't have to escape.
Yeah.
Right? So this is fine. Like, if you want to speedring that, but then you should be rotating. I like this rotation okay here, but why so passive here? Why not here? Why not here? Nobody's going to chase you. It's not possible. It's not possible. As long as you're maintaining your distance, you should be okay. And you can kind of see, like, it's not all your fault there by any means, but there just wasn't enough pressure from you, offensively or healing-wise either. That speed ring's fine, but then where do you need to go?
I probably should have gone hotel.
You should have gone to spawn. Yeah, exactly. Like, exactly. Rotate through here and just open up your angle here. Cook. Cook. Like, the difference between a good and a bad Juno is that a good Juno makes defensive positions look aggressive.
Yeah.
Right? So you go like, man, wow, look at this Juno. She's in their spawn. Well, duh, because there's nobody there. Yeah. You never rotate in towards somebody's Juno, almost ever, right? Because she just doesn't win duels quickly enough, right? She doesn't have that burst value of anti-nade and sleep dart and stuff, right? But shockingly, let's kind of like hindsight this, right? So we rotate where we properly should. We rotate here. We shoot. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is a 5K torpedo. You get trades on backline. You're able to keep your Ash up. You're able to continue to rotate onto your Sombra here. And you could literally just run circles around the enemy team, right? So, what I am appreciative of is that you're maintaining your distance. Like you're playing, I think, what is pretty much an appropriate range for Juno, right? Like that medium to long range, especially considering what you're playing versus. What you're not doing very well is rotating on the appropriate angle, the one that is vacated by the enemy team. That's the key thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The speed rings, in theory, were fine. Like what you're trying to do with the speed ring, totally fine. It's good. Just use that speed, use those flights to rotate, you know? Is there a good angle here from which you can apply pressure?
Top left.
You get spammed out. You get spammed out, right? It's not a good angle because there's like 4 or 5 people staring you down, right? And
So
there's
would
also no
Beggar be
crossfire.
better?
I don't know if there is a better angle. I think kind of where you're at is okay. Let's put it that way. But why is that the case?
Okay.
What's different about this section versus what the section we just vacated?
The sightlines are longer and they're easier to access.
Sight lines are longer and it's also a lot more constricted. This is where the best support in the game would probably be a Baptiste for the specific section, right? Because it's just one giant lane, right? So that being said, this is why as soon as you possibly can, great use of your verticality, good speed ring and torpedoes. But like, let's say that you guys didn't get shattered here and properly disengaged and re-engaged. If you guys were to take the fight in this choke, where should you play?
Up on top.
Up on top, right?
Yeah.
Right here, right? Nothing crazy. Like, we're not talking about like hard flanking here, right? We're just taking a different sight lane, a different angle, and this is where you would be really, really good. This is where you could compete with the Baptiste in terms of your offensive pressure because you have a large AoE presence from an off angle instead of just a nasty little kind of corridor. So, okay, let's see what we got. So you could even look at this here, and I know what you're going to do. You're just going to use your speed ring on main, and you're going to use your ult on main, and I'm going to cry. But I want you to cook here. I want you to cook with the setup that you have, with the character that you're playing. Where should you rotate from? Where should you use your ultimate from? Where should you speed ring from? What do you got?
And up there where my Sombra is.
Yeah, you should rotate up through here safely. 3, 2, 1, pop your ult, speed ring out, torpedo. This is where you go. Now, why is that the play? You have the mobility, use it, but why?
You get the most value out of your torpedoes.
The most value of your torpedoes, because it's an AoE long-range angle. Why else?
Yeah. Your ult would be better here?
Yep. Well, it would be better. Of course. But look at the situation, right? Look at the comp. Look at the choke, right?
They can't get to you. And
There's
the
no...
BAP's not going to be able to bro you or like
that,
fight
that's
you.
That's it. He's gonna pop BAP window, and he's going to die. He's going to die. He's going to die through it. Torpedo plus, amp. It's going to instantly force lamp. Any sort of fallout from your team, he's just dead. Your Diva will get in his face. It's over. Why are you fighting on the floor versus a Rhine and a Mei with Blizzard? Why? That's kind of like, that's where, like, even though you're still kind of doing the same kind of approach here, it's a completely different way of going about it. Because you open yourself up this fight with your approach to getting pinned, to getting walled, to getting blizzarded, and so on. Use your mobility, even if it's in a small way. And that really goes for your entire team. Position's fine. Sure. I probably would have preferred to pop with a speed ring and then try to use your ult from like a little bit further back.
Yeah.
But I don't hate this because again, are you using an angle? Yes. Are you using verticality? Yes. The problem is just it's a little bit crampy.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think this is like the spirit of this is good. The problem is where you ended. Where did you need to be?
I need to be on the height, probably behind me.
Yeah. Stay here, or even heck, you could even rotate to here. Cook a little bit, at least create some sort of space. Because this is about to end really poorly, I feel like. Because this blizzard's coming out. Yeah, look at that. What's one thing that you've gotten right from the start of this fight? What's one thing that...
Playing on the height.
Playing on height to start. What else? What is how long have you been engaged with this character?
What do you mean?
How long has the pressure's output been? Let's put it that way.
The entire time?
Right. Something to consider. Now, was that a strategic decision? Was that a consequence of optimal positioning? Maybe not, right? But this character's really good. The longer these fights go, the better your character's going to feel. Okay. So let's keep going. I might actually let's skip around. I want to go to different sections on the map and force you to kind of like problem solve. You know, different situations. Let's okay. So yeah, so you guys hold here. Let's take a look at this ultimate as well. Oh, I mean, this is Christmas, right? This is Christmas. I mean, I know this feels messy right now, but like, the only nitpick I would have is just try to not use your torpedoes mid-beat, right?
Yeah.
just shoot, and then fine. But again, like, look at how like comfy this is, right?
Yeah.
This is great. This is really well done. Well done. It's never gonna be perfect, but you should be very happy about how that played out. Nice job. Okay, let's I mean, this is your playground again. We're back at it. Oh my gosh, their comp's even worse. Like junk, like right? Like so like now there's even less chance of like getting sniped out from a distance, right? So
yeah.
Initial positioning's fine. Good. Now where should your rotation be eventually? Because like right now we're like looking to kind of trade on the choke. But where could you go?
Where my ash is?
Yeah. You could rotate there. Give me something a little bit more conservative, a little bit more basic.
To the left where my Curie is.
Yeah, just hold this angle here. Hold the angle here. Avoid their Sojourn poke. But you don't want to get too close, right? You might have to fly away. You might not even be able to stay there. Just something to consider. Yep. Where do you need to be?
On statue, I guess?
Yep. Rotate this direction. Why this angle and why not this angle? Obviously,
well, the Rhine has an easier
yeah.
access to bathe than
it's congested, right? Congested. We want more medium to long range. Now, you might not want to poke here, but heck, you could even sit here.
Yeah.
Sit here, right? I guarantee you that you're going to rotate right at some point. Yeah, there it is. Good. And then now you are almost arguably the best support in the game right now. This position is so freaking good. You can legit just speed ring, whatever, AFK, shoot, heal, whatever you want. They're throwing everything they can at you. Doesn't matter. They can't touch you. Torpedo when anything is ever contested. Like it's impossible. It's over.
Yeah.
Like once you get there, it's over. The challenge is like, okay, please don't stay here. No, okay, good. Torpedo, good. Oh, you've messed it up. You got to get that torpedo. You got to trust yourself. You're cooking. Why did you miss the torpedo? Was it the Sojourn?
I think I just like mistimed it. Like I assumed it like shot out, and then I like peeked back and it cuts off from the chunk.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, mechanical error. It's fine. Don't. You're fine. Keep shooting. Shoot. Keep shooting. Speed ring that. Oy. Man. I think the idea of what you're doing is fine, but you're missing too many shots. You're heal botting still a little bit, like with the new Kiriko, like looked at each other at full HP, and then also like missing a few torpedoes is kind of brutal. But the rotation there was good. All right, get her. Go. Get her out. Speed ring on main. Rotate here. Boing. Torpedo. Blast him. Right? And you'll get your... Or do the exact same thing when you have ultimate, right? Here we go. Let it rip. Do it. Speed ring as a complement than that, and then don't stay in your ultimate. Remember, the ultimate lingers, which means what? What can you do right now?
You can rotate to height while you're getting the damage off.
You got it. Take the space. That's how you finish fights, because they'll kite an ultimate, but you'll keep the space, and so the ultimate's still worth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. This character will punish your lack of... to quote Star Wars, your lack of vision. If you don't know where you're going, if you don't know like what the end goal of all these rotations are, or have a vision in mind, you're going to be outvalued. And the worst part about it is you won't even know what's wrong. Like other characters will be like, oh, I can hit an anti-net, I can hit a shot. You're like, well, what did I do wrong? Well, it's like a lot.
It's kind of like Hog, I guess, where you feel like you're getting value, but you're not.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Sure, it's fine. Speed. This might even be a situation where you're like, what did I do wrong? Well, what did you do wrong? Small detail.
I probably could have pressured her Sojourn.
I agree, right? The Sojourn is like, you're going to hit her with Torpedo. Now, I would have done so from verticality. I would have tried to, I don't know if you can double jump from here and fly. You might be
Yeah,
able
you
to
can.
slide here. Okay, so
You can fly.
it's something to consider. Like, this is the position you need, because then you can always LOS and heal, but you need that opportunity. It's a small thing. Would that have changed the result? Almost certainly not. But still.
Yeah.
In
Just better
goal,
practice anyway.
better for practice, exactly. In goal here, same exact thing. Need to take top. Yep, good. Also, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Never mind. I was gonna say something about canceling your boosters, but you got there sooner, so it's fine. Wait that out. Okay, so then you're gonna split here. That's fine. I would speed ring that instead. Good rule for you with team play. It seemed like a lot of defensive speed rings. If you want to coordinate this here and be like, let's just speed ring, guys. Like, let's just go. Like, you could Kitsune rush from top right and speed ring right here, and your Orisa with Javelin Spin will end up on top of this backline instantly for speed. And then she'll be able to sustain that pressure with her ultimate. I don't like how most of your speed rings have been used defensively. It's showing a lack, again, of vision of what you want to do with that utility. Call it out. Or talk about it in planning stage, right? Like, hey, we have this speed ring. Let's try and proactively use it, because it's the reason why speed ring is way easier to use proactively is because it has a cast time. So it might not get there in time for you to be able to kite an ultimate, but you will be able to push with it. So just keep that in mind.
Usually my tanks call for speed, so like if they haven't called something for a while, I'm like, oh, I'm just not gonna let it sit.
Yeah. That doesn't work with speed ring.
Yeah.
It doesn't work with speed ring. Not as much. Again, because of the cast time.
Yeah.
So that's on you. It's fine. What ended up with it? Did he just like hit the fortify or what? That Riptire just kind of like disappeared.
I think it broke.
I didn't even see it in the kill feed though. Maybe I missed it. All right, top right. Right? Top right. Top right, and then just turn your brain off. Speed your Orisa. Shoot. Torpedo. Yeah, sure. But again, you know, speed ring that, right? Frick me, man. That's terrifying. Hey, as long as you're in your ult, you know? As long as you're in your ult, I guess, you know, that works. Okay, let's, I love the position here. Shoot. Just shoot. Like, at least pick the Lucio, you know? Like, I get, like, there's gonna throw a lot of, but, like, at least pick the Lucio here. Okay. So what you could do here, how do you use your torpedoes and speed ring here? It's a neutral fight. What do you do?
I guess I could call to speed my team in and then torpedo all of them.
Whoops. Yeah, exactly. This is where you would speed here. Your Orisa Javelin spins through the speed, gets on backline. You get it a 4-man torpedo right here. You got me?
Yeah.
You just see it. It's over.
Yeah, you could probably just kill
legitimately, the game is over. Like, you guys would just... I think you guys actually full cap off of that play right there, because I think with where the card is. So what I would say with speedring is it's not that it's bad to use it to push with an ult. It's not that it's bad to push... use it defensively, right? The basically, though, is you need to be not waiting for those defensive purposes to use it if you see an opportunity. And the only way to see an opportunity is to look for an opportunity.
Aggressively.
Yeah. It's to look for an opportunity. Exactly, to get a better feel for it, right? Is it better to use it defensively versus offensively? I mean, it's up to you guys, right? But I doubt you guys are thinking, guys, let's force BAP window then speed out here. Like, maybe that was the play, but...
No, I don't think we said anything really. We were just kind of like calling people that were low. We didn't really have a plan.
Right. And that's where you're missing. Basically, the reason why that's bad and why it's better to go first is not that going first is always better. It's because going first usually implies that you have a plan.
Yeah.
If you had a defensive plan there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you could have said, guys, I'm going to save torpedoes, flight, and speed, and we're just going to kite out and punish their push, that's actually totally fine. The reason why going first usually works better is because usually that implies that there was some level of thought. And basically, you got to look at this situation here as equivalent of sitting on both anti-nade and sleep dart for the entirety of the fight. You would
Yeah.
never do this with Ana, or actually maybe you would, but you would never do this with Ana. And so when they use these CDs and you don't even end up, you never even use torpedoes, right? You died before it did. So like that's where it's like it gets painful. Heck, you could speed ring this. Get to the corner, pop the speed ring. What would you do with the speed ring here for you? You specifically.
What would I do with it?
Mm-hmm.
You just shoot at the corner and let my Orisa walk.
And then what would you do? You as Juno,
And
where
then
would you rotate to?
go to the little thing up top above my Ash and then fly across.
You could.
Well,
You
actually,
could.
their backline's there.
Yeah. Check this out. Speed ring your Orisa. Rotate here. Use the speed to rotate here, and then this is
Torpedo, yeah.
torpedo, right? Like Merry Christmas. It's over. They're going to lose the high ground in this torpedo. Is there going to be risk involved? Yes, there will be. I don't care. Use it. There it is. 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 See, you're going to win this fight because you've actually had a plan. Even though the barrage fails miserably, at least there's some sort of like concerted push here.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. They have 2 ultimates. But hey, you know what? We take that. And you still traded. You traded. Let's go. Let's do it again. Same thing. Speed it out. Speed it out. Rampless speed's terrifying. Good. Use the speed ring. Pop the ult. Torpedo. If they kite it, you get the complete control of high ground, and then you just pop Kitsune Bob, and the game's over. Yep. You go the opposite order. It's fine with me. Where should you be right now?
Up on that high ground.
Mm-hmm. And then what do you do up on the high ground?
You ult.
You ult. You pop the speed, you pop the ult, you torpedo, and the game is over.
So should I speed before I ult?
I
know it's probably more nuanced.
It's up to you. It's up to you. I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it. Do a little bit of both. Try a little bit of both. The speed can help you to basically start the initiation that allows you to educate. Like maybe you pop the speed here. They all kite around the corner and you go, oh, fly over here, pop ult here, right? But they can also allow your team to immediately capitalize on the ultimate. It's up to you.
Yeah.
I'm just more annoyed at the lack of taking space from the space it's given.
Yeah.
Because a lot of your space taking is a lot more like, press W, but take the high ground, right? Take the high ground. It's in the same way that we're talking about like first attack as well. Okay, any questions?
No.
Juno, proactively rotate to angles, space that feels good for you and is not occupied by enemies. Set up plays with speed ring, not just kites, and take space accordingly. The key thing is for you is like if you pop the speed ring, it's almost always married to a rotation because that's what allows you to rotate safely by making a big noise elsewhere. Was there anything else? I think those are the 2 main plays, or 2 main things, excuse me. Keep an eye on heal body maybe?
Yeah.
Finding a little, it's not a huge problem, but just something to kind of keep in mind. Any other questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. Good luck with your practice. If questions come up, just message